Hi, this is Kathy Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this month's Project of the Month. I want you to put your mouse on your Floriani icon and double left mouse click to open the program. As the program opens up, the first thing you're going to see that comes up is our My Floriani Today screen. This screen is intended to come up, and there's no way to get rid of this screen. This screen also always has lots of good information for you. As long as you're connected to the internet. Your software will run perfectly whether you're hooked to the internet or not. However, if you are, and make sure you get on the internet at least once a month when you open your Floriani software, because we want to see the My Floriani Today screen because it has so much good information for you. And now the first thing I want you to notice on our My Floriani Today screen is up at the top here we have New Release. Anytime a new version, a new update comes out, we have all the information right here for you so you can see what's included in that new release. You'll notice our Floriani Deal of the Month. Every month we change products and we have a deal at your local dealer. So go in and see what your product of the month is. Now this happens to be your template tearaway, which is a wonderful design placement tool. I highly recommend using it. Once you've used it, you'll never go back. So go ahead and check it out at your dealer. We also have free suite designs available. The April designs should be coming up soon. These were our March designs, and every month for our suite owners only, we have 5 new designs. I want you to look on the left-hand side. We have our Floriani workbook and lesson files. This is a wonderful workbook and lessons written for embroiderers by an embroiderer, which makes them very easy to follow if you're someone that likes to look through a manual. This is about a 200-page workbook. It is a PDF file, so you can download it, and then you could look and actually print out the lessons that were pertinent to you. We have how to download our videos, because you do have video tutorials available for Floriani software at no cost. Your software itself includes lots of videos. You can go to the internet and download more. Our support forum, our online manual, our software support. This is where you go anytime you need to get an extra activation. Anytime you have a challenge with your software, this is where we go. Our lessons from the master videos, those are tutorial videos done by the master himself, Walter Floriani. Our facts, our stabilizers and threads, this is all information that takes you to the internet. And need digitizing help. If you need digitizing help, this tab, if I left mouse click on this option, you will notice what comes up is a website to Universal Digitizing. It is a website, it is a company that we are not affiliated with, but we do recommend. They are a wonderful company. They do very good work. So if you have something that you need digitized and you really don't have the time or the inclination to digitize it, you can email your artwork to them and they will go ahead and digitize the embroidery for you at a very reasonable cost. So let's go ahead and get started on today's Project of the Month. Today we're going to do faux knitting in the hoop. I'm going to left mouse click on Create a New Design. I'm going to bring up my screen, and we're first going to look at our workspace. Now, if you've done any of my projects of the month, you know that I always make my workspace work for me. Now today we are going to work in 1-inch blocks. So the first thing we need to do is we want to right mouse click anywhere along the ruler bar. I'm going to right mouse click, and I want to make sure that at this point in time I'm in inches. I will left mouse click on inches to make sure that that is my unit of measure, and if you notice in the upper left hand corner it says inches. The next thing I want to do is we need to work in 1-inch blocks today. I want my grid, each square on my grid, to represent 1 inch. I'm going to right mouse click. I'm going to go to Grid Settings. I will left mouse click on the word Grid Settings, and as it comes up I will make sure that I type in 1 in my horizontal. As long as my maintain aspect ratio box is selected, it will go ahead and give me 1 in the vertical as well. I also want to make sure this snap to grid option has a check mark in it because we want our lines to snap to the grid today. I've got that done. I am going to come here and I'm going to say OK. And now I have 1-inch blocks on my screen. So no matter how much I zoom in or zoom out, it will still represent 1 inch. What I want you to do is come up and I want you to get your artwork tool. It's on your top toolbar. If you put your cursor over your tools, I want you to notice that it will tell you what that tool is. And I'm going to put my cursor over artwork. And you notice in parentheses there's a 0. Those are quick key buttons. I could just hit the 0 on my keyboard and that would also activate my artwork tool. I had a question about that and I wanted to answer that. Let's go ahead and left mouse click on the little down arrow and select your rectangle tool. Now you know you have your rectangle tool because it is stuck to your cursor. Now notice in my properties it's telling me already I'm dealing with artwork. So I am going to, holding down my left mouse key, do not let go of your left mouse key. Hold it down and drag your left mouse till you have a box on the screen. It doesn't matter its size at this point. Now that we have that, I want you to notice it's also in my sequence view. It has come up that we have this, and if I hit my plus mark by left mouse clicking on it, it tells me I'm just dealing with artwork. Now artwork means it is not stitches. This is not reality. It will not go to your machine. It will not stitch out. To me it's just a visual so I can work with it. Now I am going to select this box. I can either left mouse click on color number 1 here. Notice it has put selection handles all around my box. With that done, I am going to come up to my properties. Now that I've selected it, it's added a transform tab. We're going to left mouse click on transform. I am going to come down here and I'm going to deselect maintain aspect ratio, and I am going to change the width to 5 inches and the height to 5 inches. Now in today's exercise I want you to know that your block that we are creating, we're going to do a block of fabric, we're going to do faux knitting, and it's going to be created with yarns. Your block size is only determined by the hoop size you own. So if you want to do a block of fabric that is 7 inches wide and 12 inches long, because your hoop will accommodate that, you can certainly do that. But for the exercise, we're going to work with a 5 by 5 inch block. It's something we can get through quickly in class, and those with smaller hoops, this will accommodate them as well. So we are going to apply that. I'm going to come up to my zoom box on the top toolbar, left mouse click on your down arrow, and tell this to fit to screen. So you can see I have a 5 by 5 inch block here, and that is what we just created. Now what I want you to do is, with this still selected, I want to move this box so that it actually lines up on grid lines, and you'll see why in just a moment. So by holding down my control key and using my arrow keys on my keyboard, I can scoot this box over, and I can be very, very accurate because it's moving it in small increments. I could also, of course, drag the box anywhere I wanted it by holding down my left mouse key and holding on to this X in the middle. I can move that box around. The reason I want to have it on grid lines is because we are going to use these lines to create our project. Now to do faux knitting, this is a Ginny Haskins new technique that I have seen at several of the shows, and they do it by sewing these grids on their sewing machines. I thought how nice if we could have it embroidered. It would take much less time and it would be more accurate. So the first thing we're going to do here is I want you to grab your run tool. That is the little backwards black C on the top toolbar. Left mouse click on it, and notice the minute I select it in my properties box, everything came up. Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to change my stitch length to 3.5. I am going to select a bean stitch, which is a triple stitch. And we will left mouse click on the word apply. Now, depending upon the resolution on your computer screen, if you cannot see this apply button, chances are your sequence view box is above it, like that. So what you'll do is you'll come and you'll put your mouse here until you see it turn into two parallel lines with arrows on it. Hold down your left mouse key while holding it down. Drag your sequence view down a little bit so you can see your apply button and left mouse click on it. Now with that applied, we are going to start our grid to hold down our yarn. So I want you to left mouse click on the upper left hand corner of your box, right on top of that blue line. Left mouse click, and it has put a stitch in. Do you notice that? And I'm going to come here, and the nice thing is since we put snap to grid, you notice even though I'm kind of moving my cursor up and down, it's hanging on to that line like grim death, because it's not going to allow me to go anywhere that doesn't snap on to the grid. So at this point, you're going to left mouse click again and put down your second point. Now that we have a blue box on the upper right hand and upper left hand side, we're going to right mouse click. And I have just created a triple stitch line. And let's change the color so that it's easy for us to see. Now if you go up to your top left hand tool on your left hand toolbar, that's your select tool. And I want you to notice it highlighted it. I want you to look in your sequence view as well. Now we are using the same color at this point, R385 Niagara, if you have the Floriani thread palette checked. The first thing I did was draw a piece of artwork. The next thing I did was create a run stitch. Now I want to change this run stitch to a different color. We're going to come down to our color bar, and I want you to left mouse click on color number 2. Right mouse click on color number 2. Now you notice I have a blue square that's artwork, and I have a red line that is a run stitch. Now we've created that. So with the red, reselect the red so it will stay on our cursor now, and we're right mouse clicking on it. We ended our last line right here. We want to come straight down to start our next line with our run stitch. Make sure your run stitch is selected. You're going to left mouse click here, and why we're doing it this way is think of how your machine is going to path this. We're going to go left to right. I don't want a huge jump stitch coming clear across and going back to the left again. So I'm going to start this line on the right hand side. So we're going to go clear across, and again at the end of the box we're going to left mouse click again. Now I have the two stitch ends. I will right mouse click. Now I'm going to come straight down, left mouse click, come across, left mouse click, and right mouse click to create the line. Left mouse clicking puts in the points. Right mouse click enters the commands to create the line. So right mouse click, and again we're just following our square down, and right mouse click, left mouse click here, come across, left mouse click at the end, and right mouse click. Now let me make sure I'm fit to screen so I can see all this. And again I am going to, and you know where you ended, if you had to take a break or something, you can see that the cursor is at the last place you ended right here. So I'm going to left mouse click, and right mouse click. Now we are going to do our grid going vertically. And we're going to start right here where we ended. We're going to left mouse click, come to the top, left mouse click, and right mouse click. Come over to the next line. Left, left, right, left, left, right, left mouse click, and right mouse click. I want you to left mouse click, right mouse click, and do not forget to do the last one. left, left, and right. Now we have created our grid and we no longer need our placeholder, our blue box. So come over into your sequence view, left mouse click on the blue box, and I want you to now hit delete on your keyboard. And I want you to notice it's gone. Now all we have is our red triple stitch grid. Now we are doing, like I said, 5-inch squares of fabric. That's what we're going to create. Now, we need to put something to also help hold the fabric together besides this grid system. So we are going to come into our motif shapes at the top right hand end of your toolbar. You've got, right before you have your applique shapes, right before that is motif shapes. I want you to left mouse click on that. And I want you to come down and select shape number 16. Left mouse click on it and it's going to automatically appear on our screen. Now I do not want it to have the motif running along it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of trick the software, because I want to use this shape as a run stitch, but it was actually created to be a motif stitch. So I want you to, with it selected, right mouse click on it, and you're going to see where it says convert to. Now notice it does not give me, it was created with a manual hand punching, so it does not give us the option of a run stitch. So we're going to trick it. We're going to come down, it gives us the manual stitch, but we don't want that. We want actually to define the exact length, all of our stitch lengths to be uniform. So I want to come down to steel. So we're going to left mouse click on steel, let it convert it to a steel stitch. Now that it's no longer a motif, if I right mouse click on it, go to convert to, it gives me the option of a run stitch now, and that's what I want. So left mouse click on the word run. Now I have a run stitch, and I've still got bean here selected and 3.5. I still want the stitch length to be 3.5, but I now want a 2-ply stitch. So left mouse click on 2-ply. Make sure you left mouse click on the word apply. So now I have applied that. This is too large. So we're going to change the size of it. Come to the word transform, just like we did with our square. This time I want you to select maintain aspect ratio, because I want to just have to change one of these. I'm going to change the width to 1.5. We're still in inches. And you notice it changed the height accordingly, and we are going to apply that. With that applied, I want you to put your cursor on the center so it grabs the X, it turns into a little head. Hold down your left mouse key and just kind of bring it to the right, upper left hand corner I mean. Now, we are going to sew several of these blocks together just like a quilt. And if you have seen Ginny's new book, Ginny Haskins, When Dreams Fly, that quilt, she's got a quilt, a coat pattern, several items in this book that are absolutely gorgeous. And you don't even notice until you look that the fabric was made out of yarn. It is absolutely stunning, so I recommend that book. It's just now coming out. It's the latest book. You can look at it on the R&K Distributing website. Under the Ginny Haskins projects, look under the what's coming. It is absolutely stunning. But what I need to do here is I want to sew these blocks together. So I want an idea of where the 1/4 of an inch is going to be, so that when I place this, I don't sew through part of this motif. Now I'm going to show you something you've never seen on the Floriani software before if you've been doing the projects of the month. But it's really cool. Now you see that this is an inch. From 2 to 3 is an inch. You can see here is our 1/2 inch mark. Now this is marked in 1/10 of inches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So a quarter would be right here. It would be halfway between 2 and 3 tenths. I want to have a line there that I can look at. If you put your cursor on your left-hand toolbar, on your left-hand ruler bar, hold down your left mouse key, and I want you to drag across, and look what comes out, a blue line. So we are going to place this blue line right at 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. I'm going to have you put your cursor on the top ruler bar, left mouse click, hold your mouse down, and drag a line so we can do the same across here between the second and third hash mark. We want to put another one. Again, I can grab on my left-hand toolbar, ruler bar. I keep saying toolbar, I mean ruler bar. Left mouse click, hold down your mouse, bring you out a line so we can make sure we have our 1/4 of an inch marked off here. And again on the top ruler bar, left mouse click, and bring down another one. These lines are extremely helpful. If you need to just use them as placement on top of your grid, you can see how nice it is. These are just grid lines. They've been given a different color and allow you to adjust them. So now, with my motif selected, I'm going to hold down my control key and use my arrow buttons to just kind of nudge it almost to that line to make sure I've still got room for a length of thread when I sew that. So now that I have done that and I've got this placed perfectly, I want you to go to your properties box, and we're going to look at a new box on here we haven't dealt with previously. We're going to left mouse click on our commands. Now I want you to notice that it says tie in and tie off. I want you for tie in to tell it to do a basic, tie off, basic, and I want you to apply that. We want to make sure that this ties off good because it's going to cut the thread in between each motif. So we want to make sure we have a good tie off and it won't pull loose. Once I've done that, I now need to duplicate this on here. I need 3 rows of 3. I can do that one at a time, or I can come up to my tools bar. Up at the top, you have File, Edit, View, Tools. Left mouse click on Tools. Oh, before I do that, though, I am going to change from inches to metric, and I'll show you why in just a second. Let's right mouse click on here and change this to metric. Now I want to go to my tools, left mouse click, and I want you to come down to repeat. Left mouse click on the word repeat. Now you notice it's already set for 3 across and 3 down. This is working in millimeters. If I had this in inches, I would have these things huge. Because stitch length, our motifs are created with stitch lengths, and we always think of stitch length in metric. If you did this in inches, this thing would be much bigger than your square. So you always change to metric when you're going to do a repeat. Now if I wanted distance, and you don't need to do this, if I wanted distance in between these two, I could look and I could set them apart. So think if you're putting bookmarks in a frame or something and you want to stitch out as many as you can get in your hoop. But in this case, I don't want any distance in between them. I want them touching one another. So we have 3 across and 3 down just like I needed. And I'm going to say OK. And you will see that it has put those. Now I want you to right mouse click. With it selected, I want you to right mouse click on it. And I want you to come down and I want you to group them. That means that now your software looks at this as one group of stitches. I want you to grab your little X in the middle, left mouse click, and I want you to bring these down and place it right on those lines where we did it before. You also can use your control key if you think you need to nudge them up or down just a bit to fit within your blue lines. So you can see that now we have completed that motif over the whole of our square. So what's going to happen is in the portion of this class where we're going to do the construction, you're going to see how we are going to lay the yarn out. Then it will be embroidered together as a piece of fabric using our triple stitch grid, and then on top of that it will go ahead and stitch our motifs down for extra stability. You could also add a design if you wanted to put a design on any of your squares. You could add that as well. But for today's lesson, we're just going to create the fabric right now. So now my fabric is created. You can see it looks great, but I might want to change my colors. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to come in my sequence view, and you notice it's showing each stitch we created because I have a little minus sign here. If I want to not see each individual line that I created, and let's just look at this. If I click on this run, you notice as I created these stitches, I'm using my down arrow to go through how I created this design, and you can see it will highlight it in the same manner that we created it. But we don't always want to look at all of this stuff. So if I left mouse click on the minus sign, it will close it, or I can always right mouse click and tell it to collapse all, and it will pull all of them closed. Now you can see here's our red. That's all of our red color. I want to change that. And I know what color I'm going to use. And we're just doing this so you can understand in the exercise how you can do this. I'm going to select color number 2 by left mouse clicking on it, and my thread palette will come up. Well, I know the thread color I want to use is 125, which is a bright pink, and I'm going to left mouse click on the word OK, and I want you to notice it changed it here and here. I'm going to do the same with my blue, our motif shape. I'm going to left mouse click on color number 1, and I want to put in color, it's a light lavender, and I don't remember the color number. Well, we're going to use 624 for today, and I'm going to say OK. So you can see, well, it didn't change it. Why didn't it change it? I don't know. But now I have the pink grid, and I have the lavender motifs. We have completed this exercise, and we're going to go on to the construction portion of our class. Now I want you to File, Save As, and it's Save As. Then you're going to go ahead and first, I always recommend that you always save it first in your Floriani. This is our native format. You know, name it, whatever you're going to name it. I've named mine Faux Knitting. And then you will save it there, and then you will come back again and save it into the format you need for your machine. I want to thank you for coming to our software portion of our project of the month. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the construction portion.